Hello there, everybody. Today, we're going to be taking a look at a recorded Kalos champion run that I did on my Thunderbreaker. This is I guess it's normal Kalos, basically, with just a 20-minute timer instead of a 30-minute timer. And I just kind of randomly did this on a whim. I basically popped a Blackheart and just kind of went in and just tried and see if I could do it, because I hadn't tried in a couple, like a month and a half or so. And I'm showing off like my CP and my Hexa and stuff. I'll throw up my Scouter for this character on the screen. I think I was just above 70k Scouter for Kalos, which it's a little bit above min cut. I think it's like 138 or 139, something like that. So I didn't know this at the time because, like I said, I only did the Scouter afterwards. So I honestly had no idea how my pacing was going to be, and the last time I had tried this was like I said, a month and a half ago or so, and I was just a bit too slow. I mean, I probably could have done it, but it would have required a lot more effort and probably like champ buff and stuff. This I just only used bit buff. I didn't champ buff or anything, and then just standard practice mode buffs. I'm also a lot better at Kalos now than I was when I was trying to do it back then. I think the biggest thing for Kalos, especially solo Kalos runs for the champion missions specifically, there are two different things you need to be like very cognizant of, okay? And for me, one of those things is much easier to do than the other. The first thing is, you need to focus on living more than you need to focus on hitting your shots on the towers. Obviously, the systems need to be cleansed, right? But you need to make sure you're prioritizing dodging like Kalos' slam or Kalos' like stacking attacks so you don't just randomly lose door or die, especially in P2. P1, it's less stressful, obviously. The biggest thing is like overlapping with like the slam or whatever. But my point is, solo is actually kind of... I mean, I would say it's far easier solo than it is in a party to cleanse systems, because you basically have until the next system spawns to cleanse the current system, right? Which makes sense. But the system's health scales with how many people are in the party. I think the left and right systems are 3 health by default, and the top and bottom are 2. I could be wrong on that, but I know for sure top and bottom are 2. I'm unsure if the left and right are 3 or they're 4. I think they're 3. Like I said, I don't know Kalos that intricately. I'm a vibes-based kind of guy most of the time, and this is not a boss that I had to struggle with to learn. So all of the knowledge that I have now is basically just from me basically learning how to do the boss from duoing Chaos Kalos. But my point is, you only have to land 3 shots on the left and right and 2 shots on the top and bottom to cleanse, if those are the numbers. So you have plenty of time in between system spawns. So the primary thing that I started doing was just focusing on living. And obviously for Thunderbreaker, Thunderbreaker is a very DPM-heavy class. It doesn't really have super great burst, especially not with level 1 Origin, which my Thunderbreaker has. I mean, I showed off the Hexa, because the majority of the burst damage from Thunderbreaker comes from their Origin burst. So that is to say, like, I need to make sure that I'm doing damage the whole time, pretty much. And it's just best practice to always try to have as high uptime as you possibly can in general, but for classes like Thunderbreaker, it matters a lot more too. Thunderbreaker is a lot easier to do than you might think, though, because Thunderbreaker is a very, very tanky class, because you're constantly making shields, and the shield is pretty fucking juicy. Here I just decided to use my Ascent skill to see how much damage it would do. Because I didn't want to have to burst again, but you can see the Ascent skill didn't really do much, so I was like, you know what, I'll just press my burst, it's fine. And from my experience, I know like I'm on pace to clear pretty comfortably at this point, so I don't need to sweat. I could probably skip a burst, which I think I end up doing. I think I end up skipping one burst in this run, which is not something ideal, but I mean, if you're able to do it, you're able to do it, right? Yeah, I don't know. That's basically how P1 is, and that's sort of the mentality that I have when I'm doing this boss. It's just something that's you need to practice, really. That's all there is to it. Like, it sounds obvious, but there's only so much people can tell you with words. It's just, a lot of it is building muscle memory and identifying what movements from the boss equate to what he's going to do, where you need to stand, how you can position yourself, just whatever it may be, right? And even here, you can see I'm playing Kalos super safely. I'm trying to get him to teleport to the bottom platform, even though I really should just be tanking Kalos this whole time, especially on like Thunderbreaker. Thunderbreaker is super tanky. Like, you can easily play same platform as Kalos, and you can just dash behind him and in front of him when he does the claw, as you can see. This class is very, very good. I love it very much. Like, it's by far my favorite Legion champion that I have. And if I didn't have my Nightwalker, I would probably main this class. It's just very enjoyable. And this is also what I mean by you kind of just need to practice for a lot of this stuff, because a lot of the things that I can tell you here is, like, specific to Thunderbreaker, which is good if you're a Thunderbreaker, but maybe not so useful if you're not a Thunderbreaker, you know what I mean? Also, that last Origin burst I just did was a little fucky. I missed, like, the first couple damage ticks because he dove, if you will. I mean, again, it's not ideal, but my damage is more than fine, but it's just these small things that you want to keep in mind. And then there's the smaller universal tips, like you'll notice you should stagger your Genesis iframe. You do your Origin bind, then you do your regular bind, then you Jenny iframe out of it. Just small stuff like that to help you get more uptime and more safe damage, right? Yeah, I don't know. After this run, I did try to do it on my Dawn Warrior, and my Dawn Warrior ended up timing out, though I think the Dawn Warrior can do it. He just probably needs champ buff, and I also needed to start ring swapping for mini bursts, because I wasn't ring swapping to weapon jump for the mini bursts. And I think I just need to play a little bit better, though the Dawn Warrior run I did was probably as close to perfect as I could probably do. I got all of the bursts in, and including like the last Ori burst at 30 seconds. Like, I maximized how many bursts I could do in that run. It was a good run, though. But that being said, you might see another Kalos champ video on the Dawn Warrior soon, depending on if I run it back and if I'm able to clear it with the run back. I don't know. We'll see. I think these champ videos are interesting because I mean, it doesn't really matter for Kalos, like, to clear these close to, like, when you're able to, like, min cut or whatever. But for Saren, it definitely helps, because 3 crit damage from the Legion champion buff is really big. 5 IED isn't, like, super big from normal Kalos, but if my characters can do it, I might as well do it for my Nightwalker, because I'm going to need all the damage I can get for our hard adversary duo, since we are basically min-cut for the duo. Plus, I just like being strong. And I like min-cutting bosses for, like, challenges. I don't dislike doing it. It's just, if this was my experience every week to clear one, like, weekly boss, I would pass, you know? But that being said, I think that's about all the yapping I've got in me. Hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of this run, and hopefully some of the tips that I shared on my journey through learning how to do specifically Kalos helped you guys. Basically, just prioritize living. in solo mode, cleansing the systems is way less stressful than I think people might think it is, because they might be used to party play, and in party, it can get kind of fucky pretty fast. So it's a lot about positioning the boss, and like I said in like one of my Challenger World videos, sometimes soloing bosses can be a lot easier due to the fact that you know who the boss is aggroed on at all times. It's you. So you can control the movement of the boss much better than you would be able to otherwise. Use that to your advantage, you know? Anyways, enjoy the rest of the run if you guys are going to watch it. No worries if not. As always, like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Bye!